Hello and a very warm welcome to Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's begin with a look at the top stories first. Rescue teams working in flood-ravaged Jammu and Kashmir scale up airlift and evacuation operations. Restoring snapped road and telecom links a challenge. Death toll nears 200. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to meet US President Barack Obama on 29th and 30th September during his US visit, says the White House. Iraq Parliament approves new unity government, breaking weeks of deadlock as it seeks to tackle Islamic State militants who have seized large parts of the country. And Marin Cilic wins the US Open, his maiden Grand Slam title, with an emphatic victory over Japan's Kei Nishikori. Our top story, massive rescue operations continued through the night in Jammu and Kashmir to evacuate thousands of people stranded in floods that have ravaged the state. Rains eased up on Monday. A near complete breakdown of telecom network is posing huge challenges to locate survivors. The death toll has crossed 175. Take a look at this report.
Army and Air Force troops were joined by Navy commandos on Monday to help rescue thousands of people left stranded in the floods in Jammu and Kashmir. 12 AN-32, 4 IL-76, 5 C-130J and 2 C-17 transport aircraft of the Air Force have been deployed for the salvage. With virtually all phone lines down in Srinagar and roads cut off, the exact scale of the disaster is still unclear. But the Jawans are leaving no stone unturned to locate and rescue survivors. They are also helped by a strong contingent of 700 NDRF members.
4 दिन से फंसा हुआ इधर और आदमी ने बहुत मदद किया और यहाँ से निकाला हमारे को। बहुत गहरा नाला है, बहुत वसी पानी है। 3-4 दिन से रोटी पानी का परेशानी थी और बहुत नलकों में हमारी फौज का इसमें हमारे को निकाला यहाँ से।
लाखों का नुकसान हो गया है, मकान गिर गए, सभी खाने पीने का सामान दब गया है नीचे, मकान के नीचे सोने के लिए भेजते खट चारपाई वगैरह सभी दबे हैं, किसी लिए हमने।
We have already rescued 5183 persons from various parts of the state. They include children also, they include ladies also. So this is the total figure.
We think in the next 48 hours we'll be able to clear it. South Kashmir, which is still underwater, we are not able to accurately assess as to what is the scale of damage and how much time it will take to repair. But being a relatively plain area, we think it will be simpler.
Relief operations are also underway. Army along with Red Cross teams were seen distributing relief material to those affected. Home Minister Rajnath Singh told reporters that close to 400 villages in the state have been affected. An interministerial team has been sent to assess the situation in the state. The Home Minister also left the decision on holding assembly polls in Jammu and Kashmir to the Election Commission.
इस संबंध में अल्टीमेट जो भी डिसीजन करना होगा वो इलेक्शन कमीशन करेगा, उसमें मुझे कुछ नहीं कहना।
But as a Home Minister, any recommendation that you will make, or do you think your security forces are equipped to ensure that election?
पूरी सिचुएशन असेस करने के बाद ही कुछ कहा जा सकता है, लेकिन फाइनल डिसीजन इस संबंध में यदि किसी को करना है तो इलेक्शन कमीशन को ही करना है।
After 6 days of heavy rains, there was some relief for the state on Monday. The Met Office has said that the worst is over.
आगे आने वाले 4 दिन में वहाँ भारी बारिश की अब कोई गुंजाइश नहीं है। हाँ, मानसून का समय है तो बादलों की आवाजाही रह सकती है और कुछ हल्की बारिश कहीं-कहीं इक्का-दुक्का क्षेत्रों में रह सकती है।
With no more rains on Monday, floodwaters receded from some parts of the state. The Jammu-Pathankot National Highway was opened to restore road link. But for the authorities, the bigger challenge now will be to restore communication links and power lines. With Kriti Mishra, Bureau Inputs for Rajya Sabha TV.
And to discuss more on the devastation that has ravaged the state of Jammu and Kashmir and the challenges being faced by the rescue teams, we have with us in our studio this morning Mr. Naveen Kumar Bhatnagar, an expert in disaster management. A very warm welcome to Rajya Sabha TV, sir. We've seen there are massive rescue operations underway in Jammu and Kashmir. There are multiple agencies who are working round the clock to locate survivors and rescue them. What we want to understand from you today is the challenges which is being faced by the rescue teams in locating these survivors with communication lines completely, entirely broken down in the state.
Actually, main challenge is this weather conditions. So, if weather condition is stable, then rescue operation will take much more effective way. But due to this hilly area and the breakage of your bridges and the ways and the intensity of water pressure, it is very difficult to make this rescue operation in entire area, especially in the border area and the area which is on the higher side to lower side. Because the pressure comes from higher side to lower side, so lower side is much more affected from this flood pressure.
Right.
Yeah.
More so because of the slanting rooftops the houses in Kashmir has.
Yes.
Also, with the communication lines entirely broken down, how difficult is it for the rescue teams to locate people who are stranded in remote locations across the state?
It definitely, unless until we are able to approach there, it is very difficult to find out give the rescue to the people. And this time, rescue is must and quick reaction time is required. As long as we will make delay in the rescue, maximum death report will come, maximum loss will come. So definitely as soon as we can approach to the areas which are still now not traceable, so we should approach there immediately.
Mr. Bhatnagar, what causes concern is that the Central Water Commission released a report in which it said 18 level forecasts of flood alerts. Surprisingly, Jammu and Kashmir did not figure in the list. Do you think that was, that was a lack of prediction, or the management was just sleeping over it? What could be the exact cause of it?
You can say already informations were given to the state government, but it's our hard luck. We can say it's bad luck for we Indians that our state government people, they are least worried about these disasters, especially the floods. When everybody knows that from June onwards up to October is a peak season of this flood. So everybody should make their safe arrangements, safe places, safe actions, they should think over. But they are not worried about it. That is why this huge disaster
just 3-4 days of rain and look at this condition in Jammu and Kashmir. Is it the lack of drainage system, the poor drainage system in Jammu and Kashmir, particularly in Srinagar, or is it the lack of preparedness by the state government?
Yeah, both the things. Both the things, especially lack of preparedness. I will say lack of preparedness on the part of state government. When they knows they are sitting on the verge of this huge disaster, any of the day a disaster, huge disaster can come, not only flood, even then earthquake, even then other disasters are also there, but they are least worried about it. They are not paying any attention, whereas central government is giving huge money to them. They are giving all the technology to them. Even then, they're not worried. They are not.
And it's sad that, it comes just a little after a year after we witnessed the Uttarakhand tragedy, and there are no lessons learned clearly.
No lesson they have learned. But in this case, Jammu Kashmir, there is a border with Pakistan, a sensitive border. So that border is also damaged. So there are a lot of chances that so many intruders can come to India and they can make any havoc or any nuisance. So it is very essential. It's a high time to keep maximum vigil over that area, especially where our fencing damaged, our OP posts were damaged, our area is damaged. So it's a high time because the people, extremist people, they want to come to India.
But is it just the rains torrential rains that have wreaked havoc in the state, or is it the rapidly mushrooming number of constructions that is going on in the state?
Definitely, it is everywhere. Not only Jammu Kashmir, even in Uttarakhand, you can see. You can see in the Himachal is there. So likewise, so people are running towards this hilly area, and which is dangerous.
And obviously close to the river banks.
Definitely. Because there is a very good say in the Hindi, "Ab el mujhe maar." So these people are making the Baal mujhe maar. They are fighting with the God. They are fighting with the nature. And they are calling the nature "Ab el mujhe maar." Likewise, the things are going on. And it's a very, very dangerous thing where now it's the best time that we should learn the lesson. We should take the help of the agencies who are involved in this thing in PPP model. We should call them, the agencies, experts. We should call the experts. We should have the disaster audits, disaster audit, fire audit, security audit, and with the help of this PPP model, they should make them, this rescue team and rescue state, complete and perfect.
Year after year, you know, we are witnessing a Himalayan tragedy. What do you think are the steps that the government should take to ensure that such incidents don't happen in the future?
Means we should prepare for that, because in future nobody can take the guarantee, because disaster comes suddenly. And
what are those safety measures we're talking about?
Safety measures means the complete training is required to the school boys, to their villagers. They should make the safety teams.
Right.
They should make the rescue teams in the complete zone, especially the flood zone area, especially this other disaster-prone areas. And the state government should remain prepared.
Right.
And continuous training is required for the officials, and the essential things are required to be stored.
Right.
Especially the medicines, especially the food, dry food rations, all these things are required. And the shelters. Important thing is shelters. And the hospitals. Nowadays, small hospitals are available, which can be dropped by the helicopter to the remote area.
It's too early on to say, but can the extent of the damage be evaluated at this point in time?
I will say that we should wait. We should wait. This time we can't say, but I'm sure that heavy loss will definitely will be reported later on, because
once the water recedes.
Yes, and the mental trauma cases will come, and your this cold cases, frostbite cases, and other cases will report it.
Right, right.
Then the last we will assess.
Right. All right, Mr. Bhatnagar, thank you so much for joining us this morning and sharing those details with us. Meanwhile, in Pakistan, the Pakistani army is spearheading operations to rescue thousands of people stranded in the north and the east, where flooding and landslides have left hundreds dead and many more stranded. Pakistan's National Disaster Management Authority said the death toll had risen to 205, with at least 383 others injured over the past 6 days. The army says nearly 9,000 people have been evacuated from nearly 530 villages that were inundated by floodwaters. Authorities were preparing for worsening conditions as waters of the Chenab and Indus rivers rise. Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif undertook an aerial survey of the flood-hit areas in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had written to Sharif offering all possible assistance for carrying out relief operations in flood-ravaged Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. We'll take a very short break here. Still to come, ceasefire positives in Ukraine as pro-Russian rebels release 1,200 prisoners. That and much more on the other side. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Breakfast News. Now, the White House has said US President Barack Obama will meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the White House on 29th and 30th of September. The US presidential spokesperson said the two leaders would discuss a wide range of bilateral and strategic issues, including economic growth. The White House press secretary said President Obama looks forward to welcoming Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India to the White House on 29th and 30th of September. The meeting will mark Prime Minister Modi's first visit to the US since his party swept to victory in the general elections. The Narendra Modi-led NDA government has completed 100 days in office, with a highlight being the renewed vigorous approach to foreign policy. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj delivered her ministry's report card of sorts and talked about her government's achievements and milestones in the field. Here's more.
A meeting between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Pakistani counterpart Nawaz Sharif on the margins of UN General Assembly session later this month could happen. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj says the government will respond as the situation develops.
क्यों उन्होंने डीरेल किया, क्या उन्होंने अचीव किया, हमें मालूम नहीं, लेकिन बिल्कुल कोई फ्लॉ नहीं है. हमने बिल्कुल साफ उन्हें कहा उस दिन भी कि अगर आप इनसे बात करेंगे तो हम टॉक्स कॉल ऑफ करेंगे, अगर आप इनसे बात नहीं करेंगे तो टॉक्स जारी रहेंगी. उन्होंने बात की, इसलिए ये बात बंद हो गई. तो इसमें फ्लॉ कहाँ है? ये एक्सपेक्ट करना पाकिस्तान से कि वो हमारे अंदरूनी मामलों में दखल न दें, कोई गलत बात नहीं है, बहुत सही बात है, लेकिन उसके बाद भी वो आगे बढ़े तो इसलिए बातचीत बंद हुई.
The Foreign Secretary level talks between the two countries were called off last month after Pak High Commissioner Abdul Basit met separatist leaders from Jammu and Kashmir. These talks were to act as the precursor to a bilateral meet between Modi and Sharif in New York. Talking about another of India's neighbours, China, Sushma Swaraj said the relationship between the two countries was one of cooperation and competition.
जब चीन के विदेश मंत्री यहाँ आए तो उनको मैसेज दिया कि we believe in one China policy, you should also believe in one India policy.
In her briefing regarding 100 days of her ministry's work, Swaraj also assured that Indians held captives by militants in Iraq are safe. Over 6,500 Indians have been evacuated from the war-torn country so far.
इराक से हमने 6,593 6,593 citizens have been evacuated from Iraq, जिसमें से 5,589 को हमने अपनी टिकटें देकर निकाला. 5,589 were provided air tickets from the embassy.
Highlighting the work done by the Narendra Modi government, the minister said the tone had been set for a vigorous foreign policy on the very first day itself, when bilateral talks were held with leaders of 8 neighbouring countries who attended Narendra Modi's swearing-in ceremony. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Moving on to Iraq now, the country's parliament has approved a new unity government with Sunni and Kurdish deputy prime ministers, ending weeks of political deadlock on the issue. The move comes as impetus to the fight against Islamic State militants who have taken over parts of the north as the US readies its strategy against the group. Take a look.
A seeming end to political deadlock that's raged for months. Haider al-Abadi has been sworn in as the new Prime Minister of Iraq. It will be an inclusive government with Sunni and Kurdish deputy prime ministers, a step forward towards security and stability in the region.
حصر السلاح بيد الدولة وحظر أي تشكيل مسلح خارج سيطرة الدولة حسبما وأي تشكيلات مسلحة لا يجوز أن تكون أي تشكيلات مسلحة وأي سلاح في العراق خارج إطار الدولة.
The US hailed new government formation as a major milestone. US Secretary of State John Kerry is on his way to Middle East to build a broader coalition to defeat IS. A 10-member coalition including the US, UK and some other EU nations and Australia is in place against the IS. Obama is also considering creation of a counter-terrorism partnership fund.
On Wednesday, President Obama will lay out in even greater detail our coordinated global strategy against ISIL. As we build this coalition, I want to underscore that almost every single country on earth has a role to play in eliminating the ISIL threat.
US Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel has also begun talks in Turkey, focusing on the establishment of a US-led coalition against the Islamic State. Foreign ministers of Egypt and Saudi Arabia meet in Cairo for talks on situations in Iraq, Syria and Libya. As the Arab League met on Monday to discuss the IS threat, the head of Syrian National Coalition said the IS roots are linked to the actions of President Bashar al-Assad. United Nations called for a joint effort to root out IS.
The immediate and urgent priority of the international community should be to halt the increasingly conjoined conflicts in Iraq and Syria. Dedicated efforts are urgently needed to protect religious and ethnic groups, children who are at risk of forcible recruitment and sexual violence.
On Monday, Iraqi forces cleared IS militants from surrounding areas of Haditha Dam with the help of US airstrikes. Iraqi troops and militia also retook Barwana, which is towards the east of Haditha. All eyes are now on President Obama's strategy ahead. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And let's now take a look at some other news and updates from around the globe in our World Wrap. The World Health Organization says Ebola is spreading exponentially in Liberia, with thousands of new cases expected in the next 3 weeks. The WHO said conventional methods to control the outbreak were not having an adequate impact, adding that 79 health workers have been killed by the virus. More than 2,000 people have already died from Ebola virus. Pro-Russian rebels in Ukraine have released 1,200 prisoners. Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko said the releases followed Friday's ceasefire deal, which included an exchange of prisoners. Meanwhile, EU member states have agreed to impose a new package of sanctions against Moscow to come into force in the coming days. A suicide car bomb attack aimed at African Union troops in Somalia killed 12 people on Monday. A car laden with explosives rammed into an African Union convoy traveling southwest of the capital, Mogadishu. The militant Islamist group Al-Shabaab has taken the responsibility for the attack. Al-Shabaab had vowed to avenge the killing of its leader Ahmed Abdi Godane last week. In a new development in the MH17 aircraft downing case, eyewitnesses say Russians were operating a Buk missile launcher in the area where the Malaysia Airlines passenger jet MH17 was shot down. Pro-Russian rebels have denied any possession of a Buk. Meanwhile, families of Australian MH17 victims will be given an advance copy of a Dutch report into the disaster. Britain's Prince William on Monday announced that his wife Kate Middleton is pregnant with their second child. Kate cancelled an official engagement on Monday as she suffered from hyperemesis gravidarum, the same condition that caused her to be hospitalized in 2012 when she was pregnant with her first child. Prince George is just over a year old. On to the global stock markets now. US stocks ended lower on Monday as investors turned cautious after 5 straight weeks of gains that sent the main benchmarks to record highs. In the US markets, the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 25.9 points or 0.2% to close the day at 17,111. Standard & Poor's 500 lost 6.2 points or 0.3% to end the day at 2001, with the energy sector leading the losses. The Nasdaq Composite defied the general trend and finished the session 0.2% higher to finish at 4,592. Asian equities started the week mixed on Monday as investors focused on a raft of economic data in China and Japan. Japan's Nikkei was up by 0.13% or 20.44 points to end the day at 15,689. Hong Kong's Hang Seng was down by 0.18% or 44.30 points to close at 25,195. Gold prices were up by 0.27% to 27,614 rupees per 10 grams on Monday as speculators enlarged positions amid a firming global trend. Taking positive cues from global markets, silver prices rose by 0.65% to 42,285 rupees per kg as speculators indulged in enlarging their positions. Now, Croatia's Marin Cilic beat Japan's Kei Nishikori to win the US Open on Monday night, his maiden Grand Slam title won in emphatic style, pipping hopes of a first Asian Grand Slam win. After taking the opening set 6-3 in just over half an hour, Cilic completed pounding Nishikori with heavy ground strokes into the second on his way to closing his second on the same score as his first. There were signs of possible fight back in the third set, as Cilic was broken for the first time in the match, but the result was never really in doubt. The 14th seed closed out the straight sets victory 6-3 in the third. Cilic became the first man outside the top 10 to list the US Open trophy since Pete Sampras in 2002. On to some other sports updates from around the world in Sports Beat. Lewis Hamilton turned a poor start into a dramatic victory ahead of his Mercedes teammate Nico Rosberg in Italian Grand Prix, cutting the Germans' lead in their bitter battle for the Drivers' Championship from 29 points to 22 with 6 races remaining. Hamilton dropped to 4th on the opening lap but recovered with a daring high-speed slalom to take 2nd and then the lead. It was Hamilton's 6th win this year, his 2nd at Monza and the 28th of his career. He needs just 3 wins to equal Nigel Mansell's British record of Grand Prix successes. Scotland's opening Euro 2016 qualifier ended in defeat by world champions Germany thanks to 2 goals from Thomas Müller. He headed the opener in a first half completely dominated by the host. The Scots rode their luck in the first half but lifted their game after the break and levelled through Ekichi Anya, but poor defending allowed Müller to fire in from close range to seal a narrow win with Charlie Mulgrew sent off in stoppage time for the visitors. Germany's front four, Ruiz, Müller, Andres Karel and Mario Götze were irresistible at times, combining seemingly effortlessly and leaving the Scots defenders bamboozled by their movement. David Lipsky beat Graham Storm in a one-hole playoff to win the European Masters on Sunday, the American's first victory in Europe. Having found sand with his drive, Lipsky then surprisingly chose to lay up short of the green but left his ball in thick, rough left of the putting surface and appeared to have surrendered his advantage. However, he then produced a wonderful chip to within a couple of feet of the hole, and with Storm unable to get down in 2 from the fairway, he tapped home to complete a dramatic win. And finally, Mexico has broken 2 Guinness World Records by assembling 9,450 tacos, a local culinary delight, to create the largest taco de plaza. It was served in the world's largest clay plot. Take a look at this Mexican delight and have a great day.